What up, YouTube? I am your host, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, back in here with yet one more video, joined today by a very special guest, Zoe.
Hello.
What's up?
What's up? Do we high five? Okay.
We can high five. We
Okay.
can high five.
Okay.
I think that's appropriate.
Okay.
Now, listen, Zoe, unlike most of the people that I have up here, you actually have a YouTube channel.
I do. Yes, indeed.
What's that channel?
Zoe Everlasting.
Okay.
So,
Do you spell it weird or anything?
Nope.
like that?
ZOE Everlasting.
Okay, I'm gonna put it down in the description box so they know where to check you out.
Cool
at.
beans.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So listen, Zoe is married. I had to ask this question to her because I think that it's very important to ask people who have jumped over the broom.
Literally.
Literally. How they feel about these things that we've talked about on the channel before. So, all right.
Okay.
What's the point specific to a man? What's the point of a man?
Wait, I can't answer a man's question. You gotta ask me a woman's view.
How about just in general, what's the point of getting married in 2020?
Okay, so the point of getting married is that I didn't have really an example of marriage in my life ever, if ever. So I do believe it's very important to have a family unit, but not like being a baby mama first, or because that's what a lot of we see in the community everywhere, black, white, Hispanic. And I just believe that if you want me to be the mother of your child, I deserve to have a ring and have your last name. Not only that, like if you were to die and we weren't married, I wouldn't get anything. You would leave your family behind with nothing. So
let me, two different points. So on your last point, not leaving anyone behind, I mean, I can sign off power of attorney, I can create a will.
But why not get married? Why not just make that effort to grow with one another? Why don't you want that? Well, not you, but why wouldn't you want that? Love.
I think of it like this, like, I can be in love with somebody without being married. And the thing is when you bring the marriage into it, when you bring that contract into it, it does certain things within that relationship.
But not if you and yourself are compatible. If you guys aren't compatible, I don't think it really. If you have more money than her, if she has more money than you, why are you even talking about money or a contract? You're married. This is your rider, your partner for life. Sorry, I just went on a tangent.
Okay, look, I'm gonna try to hone you back in. I want you to listen to me for a quick second. I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. Got it. I understand that. Your rider, your homie for life. I can't play in a fairy tale world where we assume that human beings stick relatively the same track and are on the same path of life throughout their entire lives. I think what happens is that there's an assumption that you are not complete as a man or a female until you find someone else, find an other.
Yeah.
I think that there is an assumption there that has been kind of given to our culture in a way, and then there's benefits of it too, like being able to raise children, two-party household, but you don't necessarily have to be married in order to do that. Now the problem, the conniption with the marriage things, I think from a male's perspective, is if once I get married, I lose some of my rights and I lose some of my freedoms.
See, but that's the thing. No, you gain more. You're gaining more as a man. When you find that woman who can help you build you to the man that you want to be and who is here for you, a rider, I believe it's a business plan as well. Marriage is also a business plan. And if both of you have the same agreement, same destiny, you guys are soulmates, and I do believe in soulmates, I believe that it can work. However, society makes it feel like marriage is a mistake.
I don't know if it's society, I think it's data. Because 50% of all relationships end in divorce. Right. And 70% of those are usually instigated by the woman in the relationship.
Instigated? What do you mean?
Like, she starts the filing. 70% of that 50%.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just think you guys just don't want to do it. I think guys just don't want to spend the time on divorcing. So we as women have to step up to the plate and divorce their ass because you ain't trying to act right.
Zoe, hold on, okay. Why would I want to get married if I know that? Why would I even want to get married if even the assumption of divorce will come up? So this is like, okay, listen real quick.
But that's what you're afraid of. Why are you afraid?
Because if I went skydiving a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, I told you that, right?
Yes, and I saw on YouTube.
If the place that I went skydiving at, if it was slapped up right in the front of the place that it said 50% of people who come in here never leave, I probably would not want to skydive.
Is that true?
No, you gotta follow it's an analogy.
Okay.
50% of people who go and skydive at this place never live to tell about it.
Okay.
Same thing with marriage. 50% of people who become married become divorced.
Right, but what about the 50% of people?
But it's not people being scared. They're looking at examples of divorce, and specific to men, because if the man is the breadwinner, he gets everything kind of stripped from him, right? And then kids potentially
not when you're a boss ass woman, okay? I'm about to try to take all of what you got because I'm gonna have what I got. I don't want your money. That's the thing.
But it's a risk, though.
But you're gonna have to make some risk. Life is full of risk, okay? Like life is, you got to make some uncomfortable decisions.
Why would I want to sign up for an uncomfortable decision?
But life, you're going to have uncomfortable decisions whether or not you get married. Like, you're going to have hard decisions in your life. And marriage is one of them. And guys just overthink it too damn much. Like, stop overthinking stuff. And if you find that down-ass girl, marry her and treat her right. Like, it's not hard.
I think too many men underthink it.
Exactly. Oh, yes. Underthinking.
And they rush into it and just do it.
Okay, listen, in society, it is a benefit because I know I'm a good wife. I know that I am a down ass wife. Like, I'm here for you. I got your back. Listen, I'm a wifey material. So some girls know they're wifey material. Some girls know they're boyfriend material. I just know that I'm wifey material, which I am married. How we got there is a long story, and that's why I believe in like love. I do believe in love, but I also believe in change. So you gotta like listen, okay? Yeah. And you can rush things too, okay? As I'm leading into it, but go ahead.
No, what? Listen, I'm trying to, I feel like you come at it from a perspective where you can just feel your way through things. Mm-hmm. And I think like if you go through life feeling your way through things, a man should never do that. We should think and calculate each and every step and the math behind each. And it might be boring to you. But we have to protect ourselves.
Have you heard matrimony? I have to protect myself too. Okay, we both have to protect ourselves. I don't know what type of girls you like.
I don't know if you're really trying to understand me.
I hear you.
I don't know if you're trying to understand me.
Okay, go.
I want you to come in with a little bit more of an understanding viewpoint. I want you to try to do that, and because I think, and this is the beauty of conversations like this, is because we have two different viewpoints, very different viewpoints.
Very different.
And in fact, you have. You're already married. Mm-hmm. So, but I think it's important to come to a meeting of the minds in a way where we can try to push the conversation forward, because there's men that don't ever want to get married.
I believe.
And you say it's because they're scared. And it's like, well, what are the actual data points that go into them being scared about a really real decision? When you see all these examples of ex-wives ripping their bank accounts out, when you see examples of ex-wives using their babies as leverage within their lives and withholding time away from their offspring because because of the court system. Like, these are very real outcomes. Go ahead.
I hear you.
Okay.
And I understand you.
Mm-hmm.
These women and these men, some people don't get married for the right reasons.
Okay.
And I want to be married for the right reasons. I got married for the right reasons, in a way. But I believe...
What's the right reasons from a woman's perspective?
On my perspective, like love, seeing a future, friendship. You have to be you have to make me laugh. You have to be like my my homie. You gotta be my nigga. But also you have to be my comforter. You have to be my protector as well. So I believe that when you do meet that right person, and some guys just don't meet the right person. Not you guys, but I do believe some men are led on sex and lust, and then that gets all mixed and intertwined.
And
then,
we're tricked.
Yes.
These are all really real things.
Yes.
Quick question, we'll get back into it. Those 4 or 5 things that you just mentioned, why do you need marriage for those?
Because it's you stepping up to the plate and saying, I'm a man and I'm a woman and I love you and we want to do this life together. And I'm a believer as well. I'm a Christian. So I do believe
religious undertones. No,
not really religious it's spiritual. I believe that he is my soulmate. We just got married very young and we rushed into it.
Talk about that.
Okay.
How was that experience?
So basically,
now what's young?
I got married at 23, and my birthday was the next day.
That is super young.
Yes.
Okay, when you say you rushed into it, how long?
So basically, so this story is like super crazy. I moved to Ohio, and in my young mind, I'm like, I want to be I never wanted to be married, but I went to California, right? And I was dealing with all these like fuck niggas, okay? After I graduated college, I went home to LA, and I was dealing with all these fuck niggas. Like, I'm like, you guys don't want to get married? Like, why don't you want to get married? You want to have my child, but you don't want to be married to me? Y'all got the game effed up. I'm not anybody's like, I won't have a child if you're not committed to me. And even if you are committed to me and I feel like you're undeserving of a child is a huge responsibility. I'm sorry, a child is like life-altering, life-changing. Yes, I'm married. And expensive. Yes, I'm married, but I don't have a child. I'm a stepmom, but I don't have a child. Okay, let's stop and pause.
Talk about that, yeah.
Okay, so basically, long story short, I moved to Ohio and I told my now husband that, I told him what I wanted and I want to get married. But I guess he didn't realize how serious I was when I got out there. So when he saw how serious I was, I think it scared him away, and I think I was pressuring him to marry me. Mind you, I was celibate, and I was reading The Wait by Megan Good and her. Oh my God, this is it. Like, we need to wait. Like, this is a sign. This is a calling. Mind you.
I'm going to suggest better books to you next time, but keep going.
Oh my God. So we almost made it to a year of celibacy, and I just remember having signs of just like weird intuition stuff. But I'm like, no, like it's not that. Like, my nigga loves me. But I think on his perspective, I can't talk for him. I think he was going through something totally different, which was never communicated to me. And I really believe that marriage is communication, or friendship, anything is communication. And we both weren't raised that way. Like, it was single moms, dad's not home, just like reoccurring, I think, reoccurring
generational curses.
Yes, in our family. So nevertheless, January 7th, I was like at work and I got like a really like weird feeling. And I'm like, oh fuck, like this is some bullshit. Like, I'm at work at this time. And I come home and like, I'm getting really like pretty, and I'm like, you know what, Zoe, you have been making him wait for like so long. I think it's time for you to just like do it. Like, obviously you can't pressure him to marry you. So that day I was going to like, break the celibacy because he's been doing so well. And he tells me, like, I see him, like, I'm in our home at the time and I see him like fall to the ground, and I'm like, what is going on? He's like, babe, like, I need to like go speak with my mom. And I'm like, okay, like whatever, like still getting ready, like doing my hair, like, and he comes back and he was like, I got something to tell you. And I'm like, and he starts crying, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? the hell is, and then instantly I'm like, my worst fear ever. Like, this is one of my worst fears. It came to life. Like, he was just like, he starts screaming, right? And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then, no, I'm like, not okay, whatever.
What happened?
Wait, what happened? Oh, he starts like, okay, and then I'm like, you got a girl pregnant. And he breaks down to his knees.
Okay, let's take a quick timeout. Let's take a quick pause. That's heavy.
Heavy.
That's heavy.
Oh my God, heavy.
So let me get the timeline a little bit straight, right? So met somebody, you were in LA, you moved to get closer.
So no, he's always been my college boyfriend. So I moved back to Ohio.
Okay. So then you got in a relationship with him.
We've been together since we were 19. Sorry.
So
we met in
what
college.
point were you dealing with the F boys?
After I graduated college.
You see the timeline?
Dibbled and dabbled.
Okay. Dibbled and dabbled. Had fun.
Went home for 8 months, almost 2 years.
Okay.
And then came back Christmas. I came back to see him. I was like, oh my God, we're in love again. Like, I'm gonna move out here, but I want to get married and da 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 da.
Got it. So then you were living with him,
yes.
And then he told you that he got someone else pregnant.
Yes.
This is before you married him.
Yes.
But you chose to still marry him.
Yes, because I'm at first I was like, no, fuck this, I'm done. Like, mom, come get me, calling family, calling. And Kiki, do you love me? Did you hear? So wait, where were we? Oh, and so he was like, babe, like, you know, we'll be okay. Like, we could do this. I'm like, no, like, I'm going, like, I'm hurt. Like, I was hurt. I've never, but, so he dropped down to his knees and I saw him drop down. I loved him so much. I hugged him and we both cried. It was just crazy.
Okay. You still chose to marry him, though.
Yes.
So you said because you're down.
Because I just saw we just had so many goals and aspirations that we're still planning and we're still doing. Like, I just saw it, like, we were supposed to get married. We were supposed to have babies. We were supposed to have our first home. Like, you know, we were breaking those generational curses together. And I really believe that, like, you know, although I'm not the one that stepped out, I was not doing celibacy 100% for the right reasons. However, I didn't step out on him, and, you know, like, I wish it wasn't this, but it is. And he got a girl pregnant. I knew what I was signing up for. January 7th, he told me that he got a girl pregnant. And the 21st of January, we got married. And now I'm never gonna say never rush into a big decision like that, because we are still, like, you know, I love my stepdaughter, I love my husband, but this is how we got here.
Wow, so you made that decision 3 weeks after.
Oh my God, I didn't even give myself time to like blink.
The wound was still fresh.
Oh my God, and it was still fresh 2 years after. Like, you know, I'm just now healing from that. That happened 2 years ago.
Got it. But y'all still got married, and then y'all still happily married.
Yes, we're still married. Yeah,
right. Like, how and how's with that growth in that marriage?
We're still, like, we are still learning. Marriage is a partnership. It is love. Like,
and let me ask you another quick question too. There seems to be, you know, when you talk about marriage, it was a goal for you.
Yeah.
Why was marriage such a goal for you so early in your life?
Well, I saw my grandparents. They've been in a 51-year marriage, on my dad's side, and it wasn't really a rush. I just felt like I don't know why I felt like I had to get married.
You know why?
What?
Movies, love songs.
And I'm a lover. I'm a romantic.
It's what media tells you that you should.
No, media tells you to fuck bitches and get money.
That doesn't tell women.
Yeah, it does. It does.
There's components of it now that does. The Cardi B's, the Megan Thee Stallions.
Yes, I should have. Not her. But yeah.
But Disney told you something different.
Maybe when I was younger, yeah.
So you had a pretty...
But however, I didn't want to get married until I went to LA.
Okay. So you made it a goal for yourself when you got to LA.
I'm like, I don't need these bullshit ass niggas. Like, I got a whole man in Ohio who loves me and who wants to get married to me. And, you know, I'm 22, guys. Like, you know...
You don't...
I was going through a lot in my, like, life.
Looking back on your decision to continue to get married to someone who just had a kid.
Well, the baby wasn't even born.
When you say don't rush into things, don't you think perhaps you rushed into that one?
Of course. I, like, literally dove off the cliff.
So doing it again, if you had a choice to do it over again, would you have taken the same options?
I probably would have went home. I probably would have went home, been surrounded by my family. However, I don't wish that on anybody.
What would you think, with, like your husband, what if you were to guess his motivations for continuing to want to marry you, even though he just got someone else pregnant?
I think he didn't think his process either. I don't think he was thinking, like, we were so, like, it was such a crazy time in our lives. We both weren't thinking, like, he's 22, so basically 18 in boy years. I'm 22.
18 in 4 years? What does that mean?
You guys are, like, don't mature as fast as us.
Physically.
Mentally.
Not mentally.
Yes. Are you serious?
No. You know why? Because when you say, like, you messing with these F boys, but you're still messing with them.
I'm not, though.
Well, not now, because you're married now, but at the time
exactly, and that's why I was like,
but if you're still messing with them,
then I, like, I never thought I would be in that predicament.
But if you're still messing with them, then how does that make you any more mature than the F boys?
I'm not messing with F boys.
I'm not saying now. I'm saying at the point that you
was like a phase. That was a total phase. Girls, we go through our little, like, you know, our little phase.
You know what that phase is colloquially called?
What?
Hoe phase. It's also called riding the cock carousel.
I don't like that saying, but
is that too much? Is too much?
Yeah, no, I don't like that saying, but we all go through that phase. We do, and that's why, like,
when you read that book,
oh my god,
the Megan Good
goddamn
book that purported all kind of lies
that goddamn book. Oh, but
her book, the Steve Harvey book.
It even helped me
Trash.
like, even to get deeper into it, which I wasn't going into it for the right.
The whole celibacy thing. It's an interesting perspective.
But why can't you wait for me if you want to marry me?
Because you wasn't waiting before.
Oh, who cares? I can change my mind.
You don't think it matters?
I can't change my mind.
No, you can. I'm not saying that you can't.
I have the right to change my mind.
Because here's what happens to me as a man. Here's what happens to me. I get those who really value me. Let's say I'm dating a young woman. I get those that really value me, that all of a sudden want to be celibate with me because they really value me. But then they might have a Chad or a Tyrone somewhere in their call log who's blowing their back out every other day. But to me, because she sees my purpose as well within my life, she sees I got a good job. She sees I live pretty nicely, right? I'm not struggling. I got a car. I don't got no kids. Right, I'm tall, whatever. Then all of a sudden she's celibate with me. She's celibate with her best option.
But that wasn't mine. With him.
I'm not saying it's with you. What I'm saying is the reason as to why we, like, the celibacy at a certain point, like as a dude, we tend to not believe that.
But I feel like sex does play a huge emotional factor in a relationship.
Oh, without a doubt.
So for me, why I didn't want to have sex is because I really wanted to...
You don't want your emotions involved.
Exactly. I wanted to make sure that he was my... Like, I really wanted this nigga to be my husband. And maybe I didn't do it in the right way. I know I didn't do it in the right way. But I wanted to... But to be honest, like, when I wasn't having sex, our relationship as friends grew... It blossomed.
Well, you know a component as to why?
Why?
I mean, I hate to just say it out there like that. It's because, you know, as a man, we have certain needs. He was still getting his needs fulfilled at that time.
Well, not at that time, because he was celibate for... We were almost celibate for 7 months, 8 months before he broke it.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hate to say that. What you know about. right? Like you would have thought.
I think
if he didn't get someone pregnant, you would have thought he was celibate the entire time, right?
To be honest, hell yeah. I never thought that would ever, in a million bajillion years, happen.
All right, so we're almost at 30 minutes. So
Damn.
That's a lot. That's a heavy.
Yeah,
it's crazy how fast it goes, right?
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Heavy.
What did you learn from that situation? And then
what
also,
I learned.
So just give me a learn. I'm gonna ask you a follow-up question.
Okay.
Yeah, what did you learn?
I
And I'll come back.
is that you don't need to rush. Like, don't rush big decisions. Like, ladies, trust me. Like, trust me, gentlemen. If you just don't rush the decisions. Don't ever rush in marriage. Don't ever rush moving to another place. Don't just take your 20s and live your 20s for you. I think I was living my 20s for him because I think it was my flaw is that when I love fucking like hard. Like I got you, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like a real gangster when it comes to love. I'm a gangster.
Bonnie?
Yes. I'm not a Bonnie because I ain't about to rob no banks with you and be up in prison.
You're not a gangster then?
Not like a gangster. I'm like a gangster like, nigga, I'll ride for you. Okay, you make mistakes. Okay, what the fuck? You know, I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. Now, I wasn't perfect, but I was just saying. But we can cut that out. Yeah, so don't rush things. Don't rush it. Take life slowly.
So, my last question, and going back to again, like the benefits of being married, because that was the beginning of the of the video. As being a married woman, I heard a couple of things. I heard, you know, she can be able to build you up. My reaction to that is, what if I'm already the most awesome that I can possibly be?
That's the problem. Then
why is that a problem?
It's always
Isn't
room
that good?
for growth. There's always room for growth.
There's always room for growth, but why would I assume that another human being should be responsible for my growth?
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
So if I build myself up to be 100% of who I am, right, why would I require another person to help me continue past some arbitrary
So what? Can I ask you a question?
You can ask me a question.
Okay. So if you found a woman that completed your checklist and she had all the qualities that you wanted, and she wanted to get married, and you loved her, you genuinely, deeply loved her, you wouldn't marry her?
I think that it's an interesting question in a sense that what you're talking about is a unicorn. Come to the camera a little bit. What you're talking about is a unicorn.
Yeah.
And I think it's extremely hard to find someone that fulfills a dude's checklist, especially a dope dude, right? But within that, I think you can't also negate the data of marriage. You can't negate that 50% of them fail. But you can't negate that 70% of those are.
Why are you looking at all the negatives? What about the positives? Like, you gotta look at the positive too. I'm
looking at the positives. But I think all the positives that you named before can be done without marriage. And I also think if you look at the negatives of marriage, just like I gave you the skydiving example, if 50% hit that ground, would you still go skydiving? I think it's to just assume that you're going to be different out of the statistics. It just doesn't equate in my mind. I like to process things. I like to analyze things. It's just to feel like your situation is gonna be better.
You don't process. You analyze. You
feel. You just.
I feel. Yes.
Yay!
Love.
Marriage. Marry me.
I guess it's just like.
No, and I feel it. I respect it. I think the beauty in having these conversations is to know how ridiculously different we think about things.
It's crazy.
But you're living a fulfilled life.
I don't think my life is 100% fulfilled. I want it to be. If it's fulfilled, then I can't grow anymore. So right now I'm still in this transitioning of figuring out life, figuring out being married, trying to, because you change as you get married, so you have to move and they have to move how you change.
Sure, that's a heavy risk when you haven't figured out who you are as a person yet.
That's what I'm saying. Figure you out before you got married, because your girl didn't know, and I'm still like growing as Zoe. But just if the nigga ain't going nowhere, if he is really yours, okay. Period.
Well. You know, gotta bring diverse opinions and perspectives up here.
No, but that's true. Just wait. And men too. Men too. I'm talking to the men, but ladies, learn from this.
There it is, Zoe. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We gotta do multiple. Like, we'll see. We'll talk after if you got more time to do more. We gotta. I gotta keep on extracting information like this, because I feel like the people that I've had on this channel before have either not been married, right, or not able to communicate exactly what's on their mind the way that you have.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So I think that, with that being said, I think that it's important to try to get your mindset out there and pressure test the way that you think about things with reality. And I think we have a long way to go. I think we got a long way to go.
I live in my world. Like, I just live in Zoe's world.
I'm gonna try to introduce you to some information that I think would help structure the myriad of amount of things that float through your head. Because I can tell you're super creative. You got a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
So, but I think what can kind of help some of those things is a little bit of structure. Little bit of structure. I'm gonna try to get you some of that structure. Cool?
Let's do it. All right.
All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Y'all already know what to do. Leave them down in the description box down below. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com if y'all got specific video requests and what have you. YouTube account one more time.
Zoe Everlasting.
Zoe Everlasting. Go over there. What type of content?
How my mind works. I do like U-hauls. I do vlogs. I do natural hair. Things of that nature.
Cool. Sounds good. Go there and check her out. All right. Until next time, YouTube. Oh, excuse me.